on, everybody? It is Jason Everett from High Performance Salon Academy. I've got some really cool stuff for you today on all the streaming places that we are going live on. Do me a favor and comment. If you're here with me live, do me a favor and say on live. I've got a really incredible guest with me today. I have actually got Jesse Eker. If any of you guys are familiar with the Millionaire Mind Intensive or Harv Eker, Jesse is not only Harv's son, which is a pretty big, cool thing in and of itself, but he is an incredible marketer. He is an incredible powerhouse of information. So please do me a favor and welcome to the show, Mr. Jesse Eker. What's up, Jesse? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here and appreciate being to your audience and appreciate you. You're doing awesome, and I can't wait to serve and support you guys.
Dude, absolutely. Well, super stoked and pumped and excited to be chatting with you and having a conversation with you today. I want to talk about marketing. You know, we are right now, as everybody keeps saying, right, in unprecedented times, right, is this whole idea that, like, there's a lot of people trying to figure out what to do. I think, and dude, we were talking about marketing earlier, is that one of the things about marketing is, like, right now, ads are the cheapest they've ever been. Opportunity is bigger than it's ever been before. There are so many cool things that are out there that I think if we can plug into correctly, there's a lot of opportunity. And I was saying just the other day that, like, you've got to be, like, unprecedentedly optimistic, excited, and be able to do something, because I know, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of things out there that are not going the way people want, but there's some really good things. If you're looking for the right opportunities are out there. What opportunities do you see that are out there that people just might not be paying attention to?
So opportunities that I see in marketing, the main one is relevancy. If you haven't changed your message, if you haven't moved your restructured your message, then you automatically are getting tuned out. One of the things that we've been testing a lot is just the messaging of changing subject lines, changing leads, and we're seeing bumps. And we have big mass volume. So, like, when we send an email out, it goes to like 300,000 people.
Yeah.
And so normally we'll get like a 30% open rate. When we do something, change the messaging to be more relevant and timely, we're getting close to 42%. That's like a difference of 30,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just with a simple, easy thing of the relevant message, because people are looking for specifics of, like, how can some things help me now? They're not looking for nice to haves anymore. They're looking for must haves. And I think that's a really big shift that people need to think about, is you need to shift your marketing from nice to have to this is a must have in this situation. Now, how do I do that with my company or with what I'm doing if I'm locked down? Or how do I do that if I'm, if I can't do what I normally do? Well, you gotta get into the customer's head. You have to join the conversation that they have, and you need to bridge the gap between what you do, where they're at, and how you're providing a solution to them, whatever that is. It could be any way that you're providing a solution for them. They're looking at you as a leader, a voice, someone to follow. And I think that's where most people are missing the opportunity, is like, this is your opportunity to get ahead, to be in front of the competition, to stay in front of your audience, to keep in touch with them, and not wait and see to see what's happening, which is what the majority of people are doing. Like, oh, I'm locked down, I can't do anything. It's like,
totally.
You have to do something.
Yeah, and I think we were kind of talking about that, right? Is like, you were on with our salon owners this morning. We were talking about pivoting. I know a lot of salons right now, a lot of restaurants right now. There's some that are just freaking out, and they're like, but my income's gone. It's like, how do you get people to have this idea that, like, even though your income has dried up, you've got to spend more money right now and market and change your messaging and do all that? Like, how can you guide somebody that, whether it's a restaurant or salon, like, what would you say to them to kind of get over that mindset? Because you guys are mindset people, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the mindset piece that you are advising people on right now from your perspective?
So I think the main one is, I think it comes to, I create my life the way that I want to, and I can only control the things that I specifically do. I can't control circumstances.
Yeah.
I can only control the actions that I specifically take. So using this time wisely and utilizing it to the best of your ability is going to not only help you specifically get in a better positive mindset, but make you more creative in what you're doing. So I talked about this on our call earlier today, but someone posted this on Facebook and I thought it was really interesting. It was like, what's the first thing you're going to do when you're out of quarantine? Mm-hmm. And people are messaging all the things that are closed, right? Go to restaurants, get a haircut, get a massage, get my nails done for girls, whatever it is. So like, if you're chopped on your income now, what I would be planning on is when you get back, what are the promotions? What are the marketing strategies you're going to be using to blow everything up, to like literally get in front of everyone? Mm-hmm. Also, we talk a lot about pre-selling. Like we pre-sell a lot of this stuff. Pre-selling just means you sell something in advance and you collect the income now. So if you're a hair salon, and if I was doing this, you don't know the date you're getting back. We don't know that. That's uncertain. But what is certain is you have clients and people are going to be reaching out to you for haircuts when it happens. And it's going to be very hard to get an appointment. So what I would be doing if I was like in any restaurant or massage therapist or like any service that actually has to go somewhere like a hair salon, mm-hmm. I would literally be reaching out to the people and say, hey, we're getting a bunch of questions of can I make an appointment when you guys are done? And I would just say, are you interested in locking down one of the 30 spaces that we have available? And we'll text you right away and you'll get your first dibs and whatever it is. So just like, staying in contact with people, I think is really important and an easy way to get in front of them and stay in front of them.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people right now that, to your point, are trying to figure out like what is their reopen strategy, right? They're like, okay, as soon as I get there, and I'm like, but I think almost more important than the reopen strategy is while you're closed strategy, right? It's like, what are you doing? So you've mentioned already, and we've talked about this. By the way, if you guys are getting tons of value out of Jesse, do me a favor in the comment section, say thank you, Jesse, because dude, I'm saying thank you like nonstop because Jesse's got a lot of stuff. But it's like what's the now plan? And I love what you said is like, look, if you want to, and I just add one more thing, right? If you want to pre-book for the whole year and you pre-book all your appointments in advance, I'll put you on the calendar right now. Yeah. But if you're, it's like, what's the thing you wish all of your clients and customers were doing for you? And let that premium ask, that VIP program or that thing that they're joining, let that be the thing that allows them to be first right of refusal. And I know a lot of people are saying, but we don't know when we're going to be open. We don't know when that's happening. We don't want to risk putting that on the calendar. It's like, well, look, the first people to pre-buy their haircuts and pay for them will take a deposit in advance, and you can hold that space, and you're going to go in the order that you've paid for your deposit, right? Like I think those are the kind of things that would make a huge, huge difference. You mentioned about sending out your messaging. Do you have any specifics? Because like I think that like a lot of people are just are kind of using terminology like quarantine and COVID-19 and all these things that is kind of getting like it's wallpaper at this point. How are you adjusting it so it's not just blatantly talking about what's happening right now?
We are definitely talking about it. Like we're talking about it in the sense of what they're actually doing. So we're not going as like, hey, this is your quarantine. We're talking about being productive of working from home, or we're talking about how to use this time wisely, like the 5 things you can do to use this time to the best of your ability. So like whenever it's like relevancy to like, we're not talking about we're not talking about like the virus itself or any health conditions, but we're talking about what do you do with your money? What do you do with your mind? What do you do with your emotional state? Like we're giving information that is helpful for them. And I think that's where we're staying in front when it's like, oh, this is actually something useful. Like we sent out an email and we had almost 350 responses were just like, thank you. I appreciate you sending me this and appreciate it. And just like, there's so much appreciation right now for anyone who's willing to step up. And I think that's something that's most people are like, I think again, like it comes back to the basics of people are looking for someone to follow, a voice to really grasp onto. And whether you're, it doesn't matter what business they're in, it doesn't matter what you do. If you are that voice of reason, if you are the voice of positivity, people want to hear that. And they want real people. They want authentic people. And it's the most unique situation in the world because literally we're all in this together and there's no difference between all of us. So it's like, where's the collaboration? And then where is the competitiveness of like, how do we get in front of this right now? And I think that's so huge that so many people are missing the boat on, and people are so fearful of like spending. Like, oh, so here's an interesting thing. So my buddy, he owns a liquor store, which they're an essential, but they're still open.
Clearly, liquor, gotta
Yeah,
have it.
essential. And so he posted something. He was like, there was some fake news. We're still open, and got like a bunch of shares. And I saw it, and I was like, dude, put behind $50 behind that
Yeah.
and get your awareness out. And he got like almost 300 shares on this post,
Whoa.
and people were calling him, and he was like, what else should I do? And I was like, well, you should create like one of those spinny things. And so people can spin, and then they spin the wheel of like 20% off, 30% off,
Nice.
whatever it is. Have fun with this, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity that people are just missing the boat on.
Yeah, and I think you said this really well. You know, I'm a big fan of like when you run ads because Jesse, I didn't realize that like we both are marketing dorks, and I would say dork. I'm not going to call you a dork, but I'm going to say I'm a dork, right? Is like from a marketing dork perspective, like I get really fired up and I dork out on the marketing nerdiness of this whole thing and just go, okay, I love that. Like, okay, you're talking about how do you amplify and enhance things that are already good. So you're like, don't spend money in a wasteful way. Like, okay, there's opportunity here, and you know you want to spend money just to spend money. You're saying amplify and enhance what's already going really well, right? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Is like if you share a post that goes a little bananas, just pump $50 behind it and let it go even more bananas. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Oh, totally. It's like we always do something like everything's a test in marketing, right? We never
Mm-hmm.
really know what's going to work. So
Right.
the reflection part, the correcting part is where people succeed and where people fail. So most people go into a marketing and they're like, oh, I'm going to put a message out and it didn't work. It's like, oh, that didn't work. It's like, no, that's not what didn't work. It's how you did it that didn't work, right?
Ah, it's good.
So it's like not what you do, it's how you do it, which is the most important thing. I learned that from my dad, T. Harv Eker. And, that is the mindset I think it's really important that people understand in marketing. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So then you look at it and you say, okay, what didn't work on this? Let me try it this way. Let me try it that way. And once you find a little bit of something that's starting to catch on with people, you amplify it. You push on it. You press on it. People are getting more responsive to like what you're doing, what you're saying. Start talking again more in that situation, that circumstance, whatever it is. You got to make sure that you are continuously correcting and continuing from everything you're doing by getting feedback, by saying, is this working? Is it not working? What can I do differently? And that's just the game of marketing is understanding that everything you do is a test until the market actually decides is when you actually have a winner. So
Yeah. Yeah, let your marketing be able to give you that framework. I love what you said. Like, let the market determine whether it's a winner or not. Don't get concerned about it until you actually test it. Right? I think that's a huge thing.
yeah,
By the way, if you're learning that right now, and there's some helpful stuff that Jesse said, do me a favor, type it into the chat as you're hearing it right now. If there's some helpful stuff that you're getting from Jesse, Jesse. On that note about marketing and kind of like figuring out, what are winners. Cynthia asked a question up here. I don't know if I can share this. I'll see if I can put it up. It's a big old long question. We'll see if it's here. But she said, my concern is she's going to come back at half staff with healthy spacing, right? Her salon, they'll have to be 6 feet apart, all these other things. And she wants to be full throttle, and the clients want to be full throttle, but then they're going to be open half the hours and they'll have to stretch appointments. They'll do all these things. My question, and kind of paraphrasing her question a little bit for you, Jesse, is I'd like to know your thought process, because I think a lot of people are imagining a future that doesn't exist yet. And I
yeah.
think like how would you talk about that from a mindset perspective? Because so many people are like, well, it's going to be this way, or it's going to be that way, or it's going to be that. And they're trying to make plans for a what if scenario. How
Yeah.
can you help people with a mindset perspective like that?
So the first thing is whenever there's a what if scenario, we have to understand that it's coming from fear, and fear is a place
Yes.
of again, learning from my father, who's taught me basically everything. The definition of fear is the anticipation of pain,
So
right?
good. Yep.
So if you're fearful of something, just realize you're anticipating some sort of pain that could possibly happen. So here's what's really important: understanding that fear is in the future and future is not real. So that's a false reality of
Good.
what might or may or may not happen. I think when it comes down to it, proactively planning really helps with uncertainty. So proactively planning on a few different situations is going to make you clear-headed moving forward
Mm-hmm.
as far as this scenario one, this scenario two, this scenario three. Now, if this scenario one happens and I can only do X, Y, and Z, how am I still going to make the amount of income that I want?
Mm-hmm.
And how am I still going to be able to serve the amount of people? This is where you start to become creative and start to do problem solving for yourself when you say, this scenario, this is what the goals I would like to accomplish still. Would I be able to do that? Just by asking those questions, you start to overdrive yourself and say, wow, okay, this is what I would need to do. So, like for a scenario where you have to have more space, where it's going to be half empty, well, what do you need to do? Well, you need to look at it and say, well, maybe you need to have a VIP part of the day where it's VIPs only in the morning, where you're collecting a premium up front, and these are people who've paid more in advance. This is how you're going to get increase your customer lifetime value. This is how you're going to get your premium people in. This is where people are going to be able to, have the reserved time slot for them to do it. Then,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's more free flowing in the afternoon. Whatever it is, you need to be able to ask yourself simple questions to come up with a solution for the what if scenarios. So again,
Mm.
the more proactive you are, the more clear you're going to be, the more uncertainty feels okay. And then the last part of that is it's okay to be uncertain. It's okay for chaos. It's okay for any of this to happen. The most important thing is that you are, just enjoying your life and just like enjoying the journey, and we're all going through this together. So
Mm-hmm.
realize that, day one's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It's just about, like I said, correcting and continuing to have a plan to make adjustments so that you can go from there. And I truly believe that those who are proactively looking at the situation are really going to win high and are really going to do the best when things reopen again.
Yeah, is that they're making those plans, they're figuring out what they need to be do, and they're making those corrections right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, and you're like I like to go in three scenarios, like scenario one, scenario two, scenario three,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my goal for all scenarios, like income goal, service goal, whatever your objectives are, is what would want to be looking at, and then you're just asking yourself, how would I do this if this scenario is happening?
Mm-hmm.
And you simply just start listing out, and you'll be so surprised when you put pen to paper or iPad pen to iPad, and you just start writing and it starts to flow. Like, we're in business because we solve problems and we're problem solvers, and that's what we're good at. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a problem, it's time to solve the problem, and
Yep.
that's how you're going to create an opportunity for yourself. That's how you're going to get more creative, and that's how you're really going to dominate your competition.
That's super good, man. And I love your perspective on that because it just gives a really good, framework for how everybody can operate and what's going on. And I think that so many people need to move out of that fear and scarcity mindset and move into that abundance idea and ideology. What would you say? And I don't mean to like take it down a notch. And this is I don't know if this is going to do it, but I hope because you're a mindset guy, this will be helpful.
Okay.
We talk to a lot of business owners, and I think a lot of business owners are optimistic right now. They're excited right now, but there are those business owners that are not. And we talked about some of that. What about those people from a mindset perspective that have lost their jobs, that are worried about their lives? Because we were talking about this morning. The average person, you and I were on the call this morning. We were talking about the average person can't put together $600 to save themselves from a $600 problem. They need new tires for their car, the radiator breaks, whatever. $600. They got to go get a payday cash loan advance. Uh, how do you work around? Because maybe you're optimistic. Maybe somebody's watching this is like they're optimistic because they're watching this and they're getting excited, but then they talk to their aunt and their aunt is crying and freaking out every day because their kid got sick and they're worried they have the coronavirus. And like all these people are just, around them are kind of throwing this negative mindset. What are some of the pieces of advice you could give us to either help us combat those people around us that maybe have that negative mindset, or how can we help those people around us that have that negative mindset? Because I bet you got some killer stuff on that.
Yeah. So when we ever deal with someone who like maybe is bringing us down or more negative,
Mm-hmm.
there is a couple ways that there's the distance yourself
Mm-hmm.
and just try to limit the amount that you're doing it. It's like the news, right? Like, you don't want to be watching the news 24 hours a day if you're feeling fearful. If it
Mm-hmm.
affects you, then
Mm-hmm.
make your choice to do something different. The second way is accepting, like just accepting the person for what they are and understanding that they are a different species than you, and they have a different perspective than you do, and their different experiences, their belief system, their mindset is different from yours. And so just being accepting of who they are and
Mm-hmm.
what they do, and being compassionate for what maybe they're going through, and take it off yourself of like, this is so negative for me, and think about them and say, listen, I actually am compassionate for you. I'm empathetic for you. Like, I feel you, and you must be going through a lot. And once you take the pressure off yourself and get out of your own head of like, this is affecting me, this is all about me, and you start thinking about them, and you start thinking about their problems, their compassions, I mean, they're like what they're going through, you lose the judgment a lot, you lose and you better, I feel better about the situation, right? So I think those are the two big things, is like just show compassion for the people, because there's so much going on, and there's not much that a lot of people can. So that's one thing. Well, you mentioned another is people losing their jobs, people not being able to pay for stuff, and that is really, first of all, my heart goes out for all those people, and it's uh, I don't know if you can say this on here, but shitty
You
situations.
can say
So
shitty, Jesse. You can say that. You're okay.
okay, all right.
We're not
So
on national TV, bro. We're okay.
I don't know. So I want to be respectful for your
It's
audience.
all good, man. You're fine.
So what I saw on Twitter the other day, and I don't necessarily know if the truth behind it, but I'm going to believe it's true because I think it's so powerful. So, and I think this is so good to speak about. It said that 50% of the Fortune 500 companies started in 2009, which means that 50% of
Wow.
the Fortune 500 companies right now started during a recession, which
Yep.
means that during a recession, during times of crisis, during when things are not going well, this is where the most opportunity is. So everything in the universe, we believe, happens for a reason, and every reason is there to serve you.
Mm.
So you being laid off sucks right now. It does. It really does. But what door is it opening? Were you truly happy? Do you have the opportunity now to do something that you truly might really love? Or is this an opportunity for you to actually start thinking like a business owner? Let's think about problems that you can solve for people. What problems are people having right now?
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems. And what problems are people going to have in the future? This is where people are going to make a lot of money. They're going to help a lot of people. And it's simply by thinking as, what problem can I solve for the market right now that's going to sustain for the next 5 or 10 years?
Dude, that is so good, and I love what you said. I mean, you said this so good, man. I just want to repeat what you said. You said, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to choose to believe that it is. That's so good. And I say that because like I think we have to be like almost a little bit blindly optimistic at the moment and
Yeah.
just say I can either choose to go down the path of all this negativity and all this other garbage, or I can like hear something like that and be encouraged by it. And I would just say to you, like, this is gonna be a silly thing, but like the people who are watching, is it okay? Like, I think we lie to ourselves all the time, right? We lie about what the possible future is. We lie about all these things that are going on. Well, would it be okay if we lied to ourselves and we're a little bit more optimistic? I'm not saying like don't go outside without a mask on and don't wash your hands. I'm not saying to be that optimistic, but I'm saying be optimistic enough to say that there are people out there right now that are starting new companies, starting new businesses, ready to grow, doing things that are great. And if that optimism is powerful, then use that optimism. And I want to do a couple quick shout outs because there's I just want to make sure that some people know some cool stuff. First of all, how do people track down, Jesse, more information about the Millionaire Mind? Because you guys are getting ready to create all these new online platforms. You're going to take a lot of your content and start delivering it to people digitally. How can people track you down, man?
Well, we actually started this really cool campaign called the Millionaire Mindset in Times of Crisis,
Nice.
where we are basically giving free issues. It's a free series. It's in a Facebook group.
Cool.
If you look up Millionaire Mindset, you'll see one of the top groups in there. We already have almost 3,000 people. We started it this week.
Of
And
course, you
I'm
just turned
basically
around and had
making,
3,000 people. That's cool.
yeah. So
That's what we all do. Okay, we all just get 3,000 people in a week.
So like this morning, like we did a yoga class as a group. Yesterday we did breathing with Shane and
Oh
Angelina.
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then so I'm doing like issues where I'm talking about mindset, I'm talking about business, I'm talking about money, I'm talking about leadership, and we're doing stuff in that Facebook group. I think that's a great way to like at least
It's a
get to
great
know
way.
us a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you know, if you go to harveker.com, there's a free. We got a bunch of free trainings on there. We got a bunch of education as well. You know, that's the he's the personality that I manage a lot. So
I like that
just
you say that about your dad. He's the personality that I manage, by the way. You said it to me before, and I just thought that was the best way to describe it. That's so
yeah,
good.
people always get really weirded out when I call him Harv because he's my dad. So, but I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you, it's kind of weird if I'm like going to be calling him dad the whole
Yeah,
time.
when my
But
dad does this, when my
yeah,
dad does that. Yeah, I
so
feel
I
you.
think Millionaire Mindset's a great place, or
Yeah.
harveker.com, harveker.com. Go there. We got a bunch of stuff online already, bunch of free webinars that you can take that are super helpful in all different topics that are really going to help you now, but also in the future of like where you want to go and how do you go from here to get out of here
So
versus
good.
like where most people are going down.
Yep.
And you know, I want to mention one thing that you went back on, which I think is a really good quote from T. Harv Eker that I
Yeah.
think will really be good for a lot of people right now.
Go for it.
And it is, nothing has meaning except for the meaning that you give it.
Oh, that's good.
So
It's
yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah, so nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. So whatever meaning you're giving this virus or your mental health or this whole quarantine or whatever's going on, like that's the meaning you're deciding to give it right now. That's because you've labeled that and you've decided to say this is negative, this is bad, or there's people like myself or people like Jason saying this is not that bad. This is can be a positive. There's a silver lining with this. So make sure you're choosing again what meanings and what labels you're giving things because that's you who's deciding that, no one else.
Dude, Jesse, this is so good, man. I'm encouraged just by talking to you, and I'm a pretty encouraging guy. So that's a good day. And if you guys are encouraged, you guys do me a favor, type in the chat and just say encouraged. And again, dude, Jesse, I could probably hang out with you for the whole day, and we could do this. I won't keep you the whole day, but if you want to hang out with Jesse more, go over and check out his Facebook group. Go to you said it was harveker.com or tharveker.com.
You can go to harveker.com for the main site or
Yep.
Millionaire. Just look up Millionaire Mindset on Facebook and join our group.
Dude, join the
it's
Facebook
Millionaire
group.
Mindset in Times of Crisis.
Love it.
It's really fun. And we're having a great community in there.
Yeah.
A lot of learning, so it's good.
That's super good. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for being on with me today. It has been my pleasure hosting you twice for our private group and now for public, and just giving people access to resources and tools is really, really powerful. You mentioned Shane and Angie. I've worked with them for years. They're well, I shouldn't say years, for a year and plus. It's been a little over a year. They're spectacular. And I just think that there's so many people that need more encouragement. And I hope that you continue to have the wind like filling your sails, man, so you can continue to just have the right mindset going forward out of this thing and encourage the literally thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that you guys have done over the years with the Millionaire Mind Intensive and what you guys do. I'm just so stoked for you, and I can't wait to see as this becomes the new generation of the Eker family, like what you guys do with it. So thank you so much for being on with me today, dude. I really encouraged, supported. It's awesome having you here. And dude, thank you so much for being a part of this today. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for
Where's that
having me.
camera? I was like, crap. Where's my camera?
I'm like pushing down.
Yeah.
So
good.
Thanks, Jason, for having me. And I also want to acknowledge everyone who's listening and watching right now. You know, there's a lot of different things that you could be doing, but you're choosing to do this.
That's right.
And just choosing to do this puts you into a small percentage of people who want to better themselves, who want to grow, who want to improve, which automatically makes you even more awesome than you are right now. So just remember that you're doing great things for yourself. You're taking time for yourself. It's encouraging that so many people are here watching, and I appreciate you guys showing up. And Jason, you're the man. Thanks for having me, and you've got a great community.
Of course, guys, do me a favor, like, share this with somebody, tag them in it so that they know that they can get encouraged as well. Everybody that was on with me live, thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye for now.